Okay, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode 1145 and Doubleshot number 1039. I got two Marvel trades for you. First up, it's the fourth and final trade that collect Matt Fraction's run for Hawkeye, even though you can't really see its glare. Yeah, because it's a whitish cover. This is Volume 4, Real Bravo. Yes, Matt Fraction is the writer of the majority of this book. Yes, he writes all the issues here. Basically, issues 12, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 22. Now, who does the artwork in here? It's quite interesting. For issue 17, the first and last page of the issue is done by David Aja. The main bulk of the story is about Chris Epelos. 12 is about Francis Procovia. Fantastic artist this guy is. I kind of wish Marvel gave him a lot more work. The guy basically was that damn good. Because this is actually one of two books I've seen him working on from Marvel. The only book I can think of he worked at Marvel was he did one of the Gauntlet story. He did the Sandman Gauntlet storyline, which was, I love his artwork. And David Aja pretty much does the rest. Now, the thing is, why in the trade is issue 17 put before 12? Because it's Sympathy Winter Special. Yeah, it takes place during issue 6. No joke. Yep, and just basically what Hawkeye watched TV during the issue. Yep. 12 is focused on Barney Barton, aka the second trick shot. Hawkeye's brother. That's the simple gist of the issue. Yep, and the rest of the issues is simply Hawkeye, well, dealing with various different things. There are various objects, also having guest star appearances by Black Widow, Mockingbird, and Spider-Woman. All these women he has dated. One he has married. But at the time this book was coming out, he was still dating Jessica Drew. We also have the storyline with Penny. Yes, she was a recurring character in this book, along with the Clown, which he was a really cool villain. Despite the fact, here's the strange thing about him. Aside from this book, the Clown has never appeared outside this comic book at all. Despite the fact how cool of a villain he is. And yeah, by the end of the book, the tracksuit Draculas are pretty much defeated. And yeah, it's an overall really fun book. All in all, now David Aja does all the cover art for all the issues. And because the book is so fun, the fact that by the final issue, toward the end of the series, we have Kate Bishop coming back during the last couple issues after spending her time in LA. For issues, I think it was like 14, 16, was 14, 16, and 20. Yeah, I have it. It's called LA Woman, which had her basically work with Harold. Yes, the old character from the Tomb of Dracula series. Yep. How the heck this guy was still alive is never actually explained. But Real Bravo, fun book, and by the end of it, basically the Clown and the Tracksuit Draculas, including their boss, are all arrested by the police. And he tells the lead Tracksuit Draculas, who he bought the building from, which he still owns, by the way, he's not selling, not at all. All in all, great book. Give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic book. Final thoughts on the series. This series by Matt Fraction is really good. And I highly recommend it. Even as sort of a minor, you can kind of also include, like, pretty much this is like a 22 issue comic book with a single annual. And you can also kind of throw in there the Hawkeye versus Deadpool miniseries as part of this series because, well, it's kind of a crossover between the two of them. Yeah, all in all, great series. Before I move on to my next book, I want to talk about something related to something that... It's something related to this book. It's the delays. There have been various rumors and theories over the past 5 years. Yes, this book ended 5 years ago. Yeah, released from 2012 to 2015. The only reason why the book came out was because Hawkeye appeared in Avengers. That was the only reason why the book was released. And the book itself, nobody had, not a single reader had a problem with the book. Now, The rumors are basically what was causing the massive amount of delays. This is not just 1 or 2 issues. This book was delayed for the last 10 issues of its run. Yes, it took what could be like, if the series was 22 issues, that means it should have wrapped up in 2014. Nope. As soon as here's the thing. The delay started for this book with the annual. Yes. Once the annual came out, that is when the delay started. And sometimes these delays lasted for 3 to 4 freaking months. Like, okay, we might get the book come out on time, and also, this is that was really stupid for the book. They released 16 before 15. Yeah, that's not a joke, they seriously did. Now, why in the world was series delayed? Well, one theory going around is that Matt Fraction left the book. Another theory is that him and David Aja had heat. Yes. My personal theory is that Matt Fraction kept butting heads with then editor-in-chief Axel Alonso over the damn release schedule or various other things. Yes, Axel Alonso, the idiot that Marvel put in charge to replace Joe Quesada. Why do I think this man was an idiot? For one thing, he lied frequently in public. He had the most stupidest ideas for marketing I have ever heard of when it comes to Marvel Comics. Like, if you're going to notice, though, with the whole thing with the restarts, the massive initiatives every couple of years, or the massive events, including some of them, 3 of them who had to be milked out for a whole freaking year, that was all him. They'll have all under his watch. And also, Matt Fraction was one of many writers who decided to jump ship from Marvel because they probably couldn't stand Axel Alonso, the one of whom has since come back. These following writers left from 2012 to 2015. Not only Matt Fraction, his wife Killa Sue Honig, Ed Brubaker, Jonathan Hickman, who has since came back, Rick Remender. I'm trying to think who else was it. Let's see. We've since had Bendis and Robinson leave. Yes, these two live. The Bendis left when Steven Sebesky was in charge. Yes, but here's the thing. Now, Bendis and Robinson left and they went to DC. Bendis is still doing work at DC. But what about James Robinson? He did maybe 2 comic books and that was it. Now, where did all the rest of the writers go? The ones who all left Marvel Comics. They all went straight to Image. Yeah, it was just by sheer coincidence that all these popular writers who had left Marvel Comics off in 2012, oh yeah, and also Rick Remender left as well, and 2015, that was the reason why these people left. Now, Brubaker left in 2012. All the rest of these writers left in 2015. Now, what thing that Axel Alonso... Now, these were some of the stupidest policies I've ever heard of, that when it comes to books at Marvel. Book gets a brand new writer, has to restart #1, even though it makes no goddamn sense at all. The massive, like I said, the 3 big events that had to be milked out over the course of an entire year. That probably was caused Marvel's attention because, and here's by sheer coincidence, that right after Secret Empire wrapped up, that's when Axel Alonso was let go as editor-in-chief. Yes. And that's my theory of why this book was delayed and why Frax left the book, because it kept butting heads with Axel Alonso. And here's the thing. This is the only book, Matt Fraction book, that I have read, or at least I have heard of, that he has worked on that has suffered through the worst delays I have ever seen. Let me list a few Matt Fraction books that he worked on that never suffered through a delay. Uncanny X-Men. Nope, never suffered through a delay that book. Let's see. Fear itself may not be a popular event, but at least the book was released on time. It wasn't frickin' delayed. Let's see, what else we'll see. There's Iron Man, Thor. Yeah, these 2 books were never delayed. Let's see. What other books? Oh, yes. Yeah, Matt Fraction also had a chance to write Fantastic Four for a very brief period of time. And he also wrote FF. And here's the strange thing when it comes to those 2 books. Those 2 books, he actually left. And Marvel brought in a ghostwriter to finish up the last couple issues of both those 2 books. Yeah, despite the fact Matt Fraction is listed as the writer, he didn't write the last couple issues of those two books. Now, FF has since been ended and it's been concluded as about 6 years ago. Fantastic Four was later relaunched under James Robinson in a much better run than what Fraction was doing. That's just my opinion. It's been a while since I've read it. But this book right here is what people loved about Matt Fraction. The fact he told an interesting story, a couple good villains. Also, and I should mention this also about the last issue, we have various people who basically want to go kill the Hawkeyes. And these include Madam Mask, Hammerhead, Mr. Negative, the Owl, the Ringmaster, Silvermine, Tombstone, Derek Bishop, the father of Kate Bishop, and this other guy, I don't remember his name. It's not Patrick Lee. And here's the thing. This is a meeting assembled by the Kingpin of Crime. Yes, Wilson Fisk. Yeah, he popped up in the book. Yeah, this is actually one of those strange things that come to this book. Is that one of two times you had like a massive amount of villains show up for like this big thing, like related to like whatever's going on in the book. They had this two-part called The Tape, which basically was a tape that apparently had Hawkeye supposedly kill terrorists. And Kate Bishop was upset with him over this. And apparently this is one of 3 tapes made of a character killing this particular terrorist. Like Captain America had one, and so did Wolverine. It turns out the tape was fake, and they were just covered for the Action Navy SEALs that killed this terrorist. Yeah, very clever. And it's something, David Aja basically was very consistent throughout his entire... Now, David Aja basically drew every single issue of the whole book except for issue 12. That was the only issue he did not draw the interior for. He did the cover for it, but he didn't do the interior. But my guess is the reason why that Kate Bishop... Now, they had this sort of thing where like every other issue was either Kate Bishop or it was Clint Barton. And this probably... Now, people will probably complain about this. Like, oh, one issue features Clint Barton, another issue features a spotlight on Kate Bishop. Now, this was not a popular thing to do. I heard some reviewers a few years ago where they actually hated this. Now, they had no problem with the story. It's just that the complaint is, if they want to give Kate Bishop her own story, give her own series. She eventually did get one under Kelly Thompson, which got stupidly canceled after 16 issues. But with this book right here, Rio Bravo, I reviewed most of the Hawkeye books. The only books left, there's not many trades left there that basically to review for Hawkeye. No. There are 2 trades that collect the first 2 miniseries for Hawkeye, which I believe the second one also collects the one-shot, which is kind of for a 3rd volume. There is also... I'm trying to think, what else was it? Oh, yes. There's also Hawkeye Freefall, and that's it. That's all that's left for Hawkeye. Yeah. Now moving on to a book by Jonathan Hickman. This is Avengers Time Runs Out, Book 1. I have already reviewed books 2 through 4. This book, all the issues in this book are written by Jonathan Hickman. Now, what issues... Now, this basically is sort of a... Now, this book, along with the following 3 books, are simple books, basically. It's a crossover between New Avengers and Avengers. For this book right here, it has Avengers 35, 37, and New Avengers 24 to 25. For Avengers 25, we had 4 different artists do this one issue. We had Jim Chung, Paco Medina, Nick Bradshaw, and Dustin Weaver. Dustin Weaver, in case you don't know about this guy is one fantastic artist. He worked with Hickman on one of my favorite Hickman books, S.H.I.E.L.D. An absolute fantastic book. The 36 is done by Salvatore Castelli. And 37 is by Mike Deodato. Great artist this guy is. Now, 24 and 25 for New Avengers. 24 is done by Valaro Seconti, which I believe this was the artist who did Dan Slott's Tony Stark Iron Man run, and Kev Walker. Very familiar artist he is. Now, when Mike Deodato, when you see him doing his art style, like, here's how he draws Maria Hill and the Invisible Woman along with Captain America. Yeah, this is how he draws them. Yeah, where the suit looks very skin tight on them. But I do appreciate Mike Deodato's artwork. Yeah. Now, what has happened during this whole time runs out thing in these issues? Now, here's the thing. The Avengers Tower has become part of S.H.I.E.L.D. And there are certain Avengers who have joined S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, a good number of them, like Hawkeye, Black Widow, Captain Marvel. And they all have to wear these gray suits. Because they work for S.H.I.E.L.D. now, wear gray suits. We also, now here's the thing. The first issue part of this thing, of course, they jump ahead 8 months later. Of course, after Secret Wars, this whole 4-book series was deemed probably not canon because of Hickman basically undoing all this. We have the character of Abyss basically going after other members of the species. And also, we also have Mindfold and Sunspot meeting up where Cannonball is. He's on the Shi'ar planet. And he's here because the mother of his only child, Izzy. By the way, his child's name is Joshua. Yeah, he named his son after his late brother. Yes, Cannonball had a brother. Yeah, that's the thing about Cannonball. He had two siblings. One of whom is still alive, and that's Paige, who was known as, at one point, the X-Men Husk, who is not active anymore in the comic books. She has not been seen. I think the last time I ever seen her was back in the Wolverine X-Men series. And as in the case of Joshua Gertrude, aka Icarus, he first appeared in Chuck Austin's Uncanny X-Men book for like one story arc, and then he got moved over to X-Men Academy X, where he was there until he got killed off when the book became a simply new X-Men after House of M. He got killed by William Stryker after he had his wings impaled. I am not kidding about that. And then William Stryker was later killed by Elixir. Yep. Yeah. And the whole point of this visit, just basically pay a visit to them. And, well, seeing Izzy basically be a mother is so great. Now, this part of Izzy, her being a mother, that actually stays canon. That does not get undone by the end of Secret Wars. Yeah, Cannonball is still a parent, which I'm so happy they kept that. Because here's kind of the thing when it comes to Marvel superheroes and characters getting married or having kids. It very rarely happens anymore, because here's kind of the thing. After Jessica Jones had her baby, it seemed as though that Marvel didn't want to have characters have kids anymore. Though they did reveal Deadpool has a daughter, Cannonball's got a kid, and Spider-Woman's got a kid too. Aside from these three characters, no other superhero has kids. Because of Marvel and DC's stupid initiative of basically not allowing their characters to be happy. Yes, the readers all agree that their ideas about superheroes getting married and basically having to be in a relationship with somebody, they think that, oh, it doesn't work. Last time I checked Marvel and DC, this is not the 1960s for comic books. Yeah, readers have moved way past that nonsense. Yeah, and luckily enough, Cannonball and Izzy are still an item, and I'm glad they kept that. Because a lot of the other stuff that happened after Secret Wars, well, prior to Secret Wars, that was later on done. We also see in this issue Starbrand and Nightmask. These two characters were kept by Hickman, who did get a very brief ongoing series. How brief was it? 6 issues. Yes, Starbrand and Nightmask was simply 2 characters he created. I think because he was a fan of the New Universe Empire, because Starbrand is from the Empire. I'm not sure where Nightmask is from. But yeah, Starbrand is this powerful thing. Now here's the thing. Jason Aaron actually just revisited this in the most recent stuff for Avengers, which I appreciate the fact he did it. but he unveiled a new star brand. What happened to him and Night Mask? He just disappeared, though their book brought back Dr. Faustus of all people. Yes, brought him back to life, despite the fact that when he was last seen, he got killed by the Punisher in the pages of Thunderbolts. And they also brought back Nitro, the guy who started Civil War 1. Yeah, and these two were actually in college. Interesting to have these two team up because they're all close they are. Also, they changed Starbrand's his costume, where if you see some of his early appearances, his costume was red and blue. Now it's blue and red. Yeah. And we also see that Hyperion is hanging out with Thor in the Savage Land taking on AIM. Yep, that is really the whole purpose here. And also, yeah. And in case you're a little curious though, like, okay, now I want to show you what Thor looks like at this point. Yeah, you're probably thinking, okay, why does he have a robotic arm? What is up with his pants? Why is he wearing a cape that's barely working? And what is with the axe? Well, this was during a period of time since Original Sin that Thor was deemed unworthy. Yes. And it was whispered in his ear by Nick Fury. He whispered something that was not revealed what he said until Unworthy Thor. Basically, what he said was, Gore was right. And that's what caused Thor to stop being worthy to hold the hammer. Though he did get the hammer back recently. Jason Aaron kind of undid something he already did. Yeah, that's something kind of weird about Jason Aaron. I mean, he set this up with Unworthy Thor stuff, and then he just undid it. Now, as for the whole thing with the robotic arm thing, that's another thing Jason Aaron did. Yeah, basically in the first issue of the relaunch of the whole Mighty stuff for, like, Bruin with Godfather was relaunched simply as Thor. In the first issue, right after the events of Original Sin, Thor went to go take on Malekith. Of course, Thor had basically got back his axe. He got his axe back in the pages of Recommenders and Kenny Avengers. Aaron Jason created this axe, so it's not really far-fetched that he would have it now. Now, how did he lose his arm? Well, Malekith got his axe, and then he decided to chop off his arm, and then fall in the ocean for several issues, until he came back asking Malekith for his arm back, and he says, "What arm?" While burning it. Yes, why the heck that Malekith wanted to keep Thor's arm as a trophy, I have no idea. But yeah, Jason Aaron is the one responsible for having Thor lose an arm. And he still has his robotic arm. This robotic arm was actually made for him by Screwbeard. Yes, Screwbeard, one of the members of the League of Realms. So basically, according to Ross Solomon, basically his version of basically kind of like the Asgardian version of Lord of the Rings, or the Asgardian Avengers. Yeah, and the Avengers Tower is known as Station Golgotha. Why it's called this? Yeah, and there's a little ramp by Amadeus Cho later. Yeah, Amadeus Cho basically is breaking in here though he gets captured. Yeah, he mentions though that, oh yeah, he wants a sandwich. He's like, I can't afford that. And he's like, really? And yet you can have all big taxpayer money. You can have $7 billion to basically funding your weapons, and you can't afford to have a sandwich. Yeah. I don't know if that was Hickman ranting about massive government spending, but yeah, that's probably Hickman for you. And we also have this awesome image when he's captured. He's captured by War Machine. Yeah, this is during a period of time that prior to this, he was known as Iron Patriot, which was a really dumb idea. And Captain Marvel and Hawkeye. Though here's the funny thing about this particular scene. Rhodey is not in the suit. He is War Machine, but he's not in the suit. There is a reason for that. And the reason is pure and simple. You see, Rhodey is remote controlling the suit. Yeah, he does of this whole storyline. Yeah. Why does he do it? No idea. Hickman never bothered to explain it. Yeah. And basically we have this mysterious woman show up. who actually is Susan Storm, well, Susan Richards, and she's asked him, "Where is Tony Stark?" Don't know where he is. Where's Hulk? No comment. Hank Pym. Which, and they asked where Doctor Strange and Captain Britain, along with Beast, Black Panther, and Black Bolt. And then, of course, she asked, like, where is my husband, Reed Richards? Yeah. And funny thing about the 4 symbol, in case you're curious about that particular symbol, yeah, Robertson basically originally had the characters for all red costumes, and then I think we just prior to the triple digit renumbering during his run, they had him go back to wearing blue. But this 4 style logo, this is a nod to the Fantastic Four movie that came out in 2015. The very movie that caused the end of the Fantastic Four comic book and had Marvel and basically had the comic deemed off limits for, get this, 4 years. Why? Because of Marvel's blood feud with Fox over the rights of the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Yeah. Why the heck they have him wear the symbol for, I have no idea, but it's a nod to that film. Yep. Now, in the case of next issue, which is basically a New Avengers issue, which deals with the Cabal. Yep. First we have Namor in Latveria eating with Doctor Doom and his adopted son Chris Hurt. Yeah, talk about various things. And then we see them apparently destroying the world of the Squadron Supreme of the Supreme Power imprint. Yeah, no idea why in the world that they decided to go this place for. No idea. Well, oh yeah, because there was incursion now. Why just, and of course there was a thing like, why don't you just have bomb and basically kill everybody and then implode the planet? Yep, so, and here's the thing. This is later revealed that, despite the fact all the Squadron Supreme of this Earth, this from the Supreme Power by JMS, yeah, they all died except one character. Yeah, they kept one guy alive, and that was Nighthawk. Yeah, he somehow escaped the Cabal. Yeah, this is revealed in the first issue of Squadron Supreme by James Robertson. Yeah, and it's just basically all talking about, and of course seeing Crispus Glove, who is the husband of the smoking hot Prox Midnight, who is still around today. Yeah, and he is on another world killing an alternate version of the X-Men. Yep. That's what he's here for. Him and Thanos, along with Terrax the Tamer, are killing alternate versions of the X-Men. Yep. And then we have Wakanda being attacked by this strange force. And we see Maximus the Mad. He's part of the Cabal too, along Proxima. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, Proxima, beautiful woman. Her husband is butt ugly. Like, oh my god, she is so ugly of an alien. Yeah. Which comes back to the question, like, okay, what did Proxima see in him? That's a really good question. Yep. And then we have Shara, who was the queen of Wakanda at this point. Yeah, a lot of the time whenever she was written to be a very, let's just say, very mean character. Case in point to Mark Waid's run for Daredevil at this point, where she was written to be not a very nice person, where she apparently would basically arrest and put 3 people in jail without having a trial over the fact that the Wakanda embassy, while military base had particular weapons in there, and Maggie Murdock, aka Daredevil's mother, was protesting it, and Shari had them all arrested. Yeah. Shari herself basically was written better by a lot of other writers. She did also have an ongoing series briefly thanks to the movie, which got canceled after like 10 issues. The whole point of this scene here is that she's handing back the dagger to T'Challa, which makes him the King of Wakanda again. Yep. And then she fights Proxima Midnight. Yep. And then we have Doc Doom looking for something with the Mad Thinker, who is a fellow Fantastic Four villain. And they're there with the Molecule Man. Yes, another Fantastic Four villain. Hickman is probably a big Fantastic Four fan. That's one of the reasons why he had them do this. And then we have the Universal Avengers. Basically, the new Avengers comprised, in this issue, has El Nexo, Abyss, Hyperion, Starbrand, Cannonball, Sunspot, Odin's Son. We have this wonderful opening image of Izzy's father meeting his grandson. Which comes back to the question, okay, why doesn't Cannonball take his smoking hot wife and his son to meet his mother? I'm sure she'd be curious to meet her grandson, who's half a name after her late son. Yeah, here's kind of thing when it comes to Izzy. Originally, they had their grandfather be a different superhero than what they had him be. Yeah, originally it was supposed to be some other character, and they changed to Captain Terror, who actually died after like appearances. Yeah, and we see Sunspot with AIM. Now, there's a reason why he's with AIM. He bought it. Yep, he bought it. He bought it in the final arc of Avengers World. Why did he buy it? Because he wanted to turn good. Despite the fact that, well, the whole thing with AIM is so confusing at the least. And then he has pretty much his group of Avengers figure out how in the world try to fix the multiverse. Yeah, that was the whole purpose of the team. And they just basically show off various stuff they've been doing. We have X-Nexo and Abyss, who are brother and sister. Yeah, and they go off. There's lots of talking here. We see Hyperion and Thor go off someplace. And then we cut to another issue of Illuminati. I believe this is the Avengers issue, where they just hang out in some ruins. They hang out in. They don't say where they're hanging out. Some abandoned city. Yeah, they're here with Captain Britain, who actually had joined the group. Why Captain Britain joined the Illuminati makes no freaking sense. Now, the members of the group basically, now, given how smart they are, I get why they joined them. Black Bolt, Reed Richards, Yellow Jacket, Beast, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, the Hulk, Amadeus Cho, and Iron Man. All these guys make perfect sense because these guys are geniuses and scientists. Captain Britain, yeah, that was a strange choice. I'm not sure why Hickman made a member of the group in the first place. But yeah, Captain Britain? Really? Why him? Maybe Hickman really wanted to use him for this event for some reason. Yeah, and we also have Reed Richards putting this helmet to make him think he's Holdsworth Reed Richards. Yeah, and this basically leads into like the break-in from their perspective. And mostly put, it just basically lots of chatting. This has the funny image. This has the funny chat about the tax thing. And then watching everything. Yep. And then we have the Adado issue where the Shield thinks they found Hulk and Beast, but nope, they're just robots playing chess while they're talking through them. And Steve's like, oh, screw this, I'm out of here. Now, in case you're wondering about Steve, why does he look so old? Well, that is actually thanks to Rick Remender. He did that to him toward the end of his run for Captain America Volume 5. Yeah, he's the one responsible for that Nick Spencer undid during his run. Though that was fine. I didn't have a really big problem with it because I think everybody knew that him being old was not going to last too long. Yeah. And this particular book is just so good to read. And we have a brief scene of Reed and Sue reuniting, making out, and the thing ending with basically Sue giving Reed a note that's from Valerie, their daughter, says, "You can't win. Time to come start." She says, "Dad, you can't win. Time to start arguing out how not to lose. Val." That's how the thing ends. Yeah, in case you're wondering, Tony Stark is nowhere to be seen, despite the fact he's clearly on the cover of the trade. This is actually issue 35. Yeah, despite the fact he's on the cover, he is nowhere to be seen in this damn storyline. Nope, not in this book. Not really. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's a good start to this particular little mini event leading trick into Secret Wars, and that's how the time runs out stuff. Now, would this be the end of Hickman's run for Avengers? Yes, but there's still one trade left. There is the New Avengers Volume 4, so I'm probably going to get that on this website I have really soon. It just depends on when I'm going to get it. Yeah. But all in all, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned tomorrow for my reviews for One Piece, Boruto, My Hero Academia, and maybe another one if I get this other one done. Okay? But to this next video. Bye.